Okay, thank you. Huh? Yes, good evening, my dear friends. Today we are meeting to learn something regarding the social studies. My name is Tigala Venkataya, School of Social Studies, ZP High School, Pudi Village, Thottambedu Mandal, Chittoor District. My contact number 9441776537. You may ask your doubts. You see, really, we want to feel very bad today. A great iconic singer, Sri S.P. Balasubramanian Garu, has passed away just now. This is very sad incident for entire the India. He is the man of knowledge. He is a linguist. He is a great one of the greatest singers in the world. I really express my deep condolences. Let we pay our tributes to his bereaved body. This is our least responsibility because we enjoy a very lot to his songs. He conducted so many programs. He is really a man of great. My dear friends, you see, now you are all open your mobile phones and listening my lesson. You see, during the pandemic corona period, we are very much acquainted with the mobile phones. Why? Because we have been listening a number of lessons through mobile phones. You see, we are all enjoying the mobile phone and its features. Its features. At the time of purchasing the mobile phones, mainly we focused what are the features available in it. But we don't know for which country it is belonging, who made the mobile phone, which company, what are the tools used for functioning the mobile. We never think about all of these. Simply we are taking the mobile phone and we are enjoying with its features. In the same way, watching TVs. Nowadays, during the corona holidays, online lessons are conducting. DD Saptagiri channel, through Saptagiri channel, we have been observing a number of lessons. But we are getting knowledge through the names of TVs. Samsung TV, LG TV, Videocon, etc. etc. But we do know where the TVs are made, which company they are preparing, they are making. In the mobiles are also number of mobiles are there: Samsung, Videophone, Vivo, Redmi, Jio, etc. You see, our market is filled with the Chinese products, Chinese mobile, China mobiles, China dolls, dolls from China market. Entire India market is filled with, dumped with China market. How they are preparing the dolls? But simply we are enjoying the doll, enjoying with the doll by playing it, by observing its functionings. But we don't think of which company it's made, for which nation it belongs. We never think of it. In the same way, electronic goods, refrigerators, ACs, all these from various countries. For various countries, manufacturing institutions or industries, Beverages we are enjoying like Coca-Cola, Thumbs Up, Mirinda, Pepsi, etc. All these products are made. Simply we are getting in the local market. How these are all prepared? Which companies are preparing? What are the things? It is our utmost responsibility to know about all of these. Not only enjoying its features, not only enjoying the goods and its services, but being a student, being a growing child, being a growing citizen, it is our utmost responsibility to know regarding the goods and services which we are enjoying. Today, we are going to learn about the globalization. Globalization. What is meant by globalization? How it is possible to globalize entire the industries, entire the machinery, entire the all the things. Let we discuss today itself. You see here, let we think about the overview of the lesson. After completion of the lesson, what the concepts to learn. All these concepts you can observe in our textbook in the lesson 10, globalization. You see, introduction already I have given regarding that. You see, then production across the countries, interlinking production across the countries, foreign trade and integration of markets. Integration of markets. Let we learn all of these. MNCs, multinational companies. What are the multinational companies across the globe? Across the globe. Factors that have enabled globalization, influencing the globalization. Technology of foreign trade and foreign investment policy. Institution of global governance. World Trade Organization. Impact of globalization in India. Small producers compete or perish. The struggle for a fair globalization, other issues and conclusions. So these are all the concepts we are going to learn in this lesson. We are acquiring the knowledge regarding the globalization. So globalization is a present a very important issue. It is we are touching in day-to-day life. We are experiencing in our day-to-day life. Unknowingly we are experiencing. So that is why it is a time to learn about the globalization and etc. etc. For better understanding, I decided this lesson into two parts. Of course, it is spared. It is categorized nearly 7 to 8 periods in textbook. Whereas in online classes, it is very difficult to spare such a huge time. So that is why I have divided this lesson into two parts. Under first part, we are going to learn what is under the introduction part. What is meant by globalization? What are the products we are enjoying through globalization? How it's functioning? Let we learn all of this. Then production across the countries. Production, utpatti. The industries are producing different kinds of goods and services for the benefit of consumers in the market, entire the world. Interlinking production across the countries. Then foreign trade and integration of markets, MNCs and globalization. Today we are concentrating on these topics only. Tomorrow let we concentrate on other topics. For better understanding purpose, I am divided it. Then my dear friends, see the globalization. Globalization means the activity which conduct entire the world. Not only permitted only for one country. This is the activity of entire the world. That is called the globalization. Globe. The globe indicates all the nations. We can see all the continents and its nations in the globe itself. So here the globalization means regarding the entire the countries, almost all the countries in the world. It is a major change that occurred across the globe in the late 20th century. Late 20th century. Now we are all in 21st century. At the end of 20th century, there are drastic changes regarding trade and business among the world countries. What are the changes taken place? Let we learn about this. You see here, liberalization by removing barriers to trade and investment has opened the economic of the forces of globalization. See, on the earlier, before, in the beginning and before the 20th century, is limited only within the countries or nearby the countries. Only if the business is limited only within the country or nearby the countries only, based on the possibility, based on the permittancy of the business. You see, business with other countries, there are some things are influenced because exports and imports are there in the business. Exports and imports, what it means? You see, the surplus production is exposed to the other countries or nearby countries. The lack of goods we are importing. Scarcity goods we are importing from other countries. This has happened before 20th century and up to the end of 20th century. But in the end of 20th century, in the trade and business of the world, entirely it is changed. What are the changes taken place? Liberalization, removing barriers. Barriers means, you see, the taxes imposed by the other countries or native countries. These are very harsh and hard. They are levied a large amount of taxes on importing goods and exporting goods. This is one kind of barrier. And contract between the nations are one of the barriers to export and import. You see, these are all the very critical to do the business with other countries. But nowadays, the population is growing on entire the world. To meet the needs of people, these barriers are obstructing to satisfy the goods and services of the native people. So that is why the most of the nations sitting together and they are trying to liberalize the trade and commerce among the countries. Liberalize. స్వేచ్ఛా వాణిజ్యము, ఎలాంటి కండిషన్స్ లేనటువంటి ఒప్పందాలు. లిబరలైజేషన్ ఆఫ్ రిమూవింగ్ బ్యారియర్స్ టు ట్రేడ్ అండ్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ హ్యాస్ ఓపెన్డ్ ద ఎకనామిక్ టు ద ఫోర్స్ ఆఫ్ గ్లోబలైజేషన్. See here, three types of movements within the international economic exchange. The exchange of goods and services, business, there are three types. What are they? The flow of trade in goods as well as services. The flow means from one place to other place, from one nation to other nations. This is a kind of flow. What it flows here? The goods and services. The goods and services which we are enjoying, which we are utilizing. This is one kind of flow. Trade. The flow of labor. Labor means manually. Where unemployment is more, They are moving from one country to other country, from one state to other state, where the job is available, where the working opportunity is available. The people are moving from one place to another place. This is flow of labor. Then the movement of capital. The movement of capital. Capital means investment. Investment on industries. Investment on services. Investment to produce the goods. Investment to produce the services. How many types of flows are there? See here. How many types of movements are there? Within international or economic exchange, there are three types of movements. One is trade and goods as well as services. Flow of trade and goods as well as services. The flow of labor. The movement of capital. That means movement of capital means, you see, there is a capitalist in one country. You see, he is investing that amount to establish his industries not only in the native country. He may be expanded his investment in other countries also. That means the capital is moving from one country to another country. This is the movement of capital. There are three types of movements. Then the flow of trade in goods as well as services. You see here, these are all the produced goods which are moving from one country to another countries to meet the needs of consumers, to satisfy the needs of consumers. These goods are moving from another country. This is called the trade. As per the conditions, based on some conditions, they are all moving from one place to another place, one country to another country. You see, migration of people in search of employment is called flow of labor. Migration of people. Already we learned in second lesson and third lesson what is called migration. Skilled migration and unskilled migration. Skilled migration means intellectual migration. Intellectual migration. You see here, this is the definition. Migration of people in search of employment. You see, you take India. It is the largest population, one of the second largest population countries in the world. It is very difficult to provide employment to each and every citizen in the country. If there is no employment, it is very difficult to live. That is why the people are searching the work where they are available. They may be migrated for another states, nearby states, or they are migrated to other countries, near countries. So this is called the movement of labor from one place to another place in searching of employment. Okay. Then the capital, movement of capital. The third is the movement of capital for short term of long term investments over long distances, not only the native country, they are investing in other nations also. This has happened through the liberalization of trade and business. Liberalization. Okay. Free trading. No. There are political and cultural dimensions of globalization. This is another concept we are going to learn. You see, political, cultural dimensions of globalization. Even India also suffered during the administration of British. Of course, we got independence in 1947. In the same way, in Arab countries also, they suffered very lot under the administration kings or dictators. You see, the people enlightened, the people of Arab countries, they enlightened by observing the freedom acquired nations like India and other countries, other part of the Asian countries and other part of the African countries. They observed and they fight against the dictators. So some of the countries got independence from the hands of dictators in Arab countries. So the same applied to another countries. They are also freed from the dictators. So that is called the Arab Spring. Spring is a new kind of happiness. It is one of the uh, what we call, that is, yes, I am unable to. Yes, that is one is the atmospheric condition. That is one of the atmospheric conditions. Monsoon, it's a kind of monsoons. Then globalization is not merely about the market. Ideas are also being shared and expanded. Here, globalization is not only limited for the business, but sharing of knowledge. They are exchanging of knowledge is also comes under the globalization. An idea can change the person. Likewise, they're exchanging their experiences. Okay, so here we want to know that globalization is not only markets, but ideas are also being shared and expanded. This also comes under the globalization. Okay, then this is another subtopic in our textbook, that is 19th century labor migration. 19th century labor migration. Now we are in 21st century. Don't forget that. 19th century, what happens? You see, the 19th century witnessed an accelerated pace of foreign trade, foreign investment, and labor migration. Migration itself, you have to understanding. You have to observe. Migration means searching of employment, searching of jobs, because they are unable to get the employment in their native countries. That is why they are searching job in other countries or in other states or in other places. Maybe migration is a shorter period or longer period. You have to keep in view all of these. Okay, then foreign trade, foreign investment, and labor migration. This has happened since 19th century itself. You see here, the 50 million people emigrated from Europe to America and Australia. All over the world, 150 million are left their homes. 50 million people emigrated. From where? From Europe to America and Australia, all over the world. Not only the Europeans are migrated, not only for America, to the entire remaining the world, they are established their colonies. They migrated on the name of business, and they established their colonies entire the continents. Of course, we learned in the previous classes also. So today the time to remember that nearly 150 millions are left their homes and migrated in searching of employment, in searching of resources, whatever the cause it is. You see here, you can observe from Europe. You see from this is the European. These are the continent of Europe. From Europe to North America. You see here, from Europe to Australia. This arrow can show you. This is very easily you can understand. This is the European countries. These are all the European countries. The people are moving to settle or to migrate the America and Australia. Okay. You see here, this diagram can tell us, this map can tell us. Hundreds of thousands of Indian and Chinese laborers went to work on plantations, in mines, and in roads and railways construction projects around the world. You see, we know that China is one of the biggest, the largest populated countries, the first largest population country in the world. India goes to second place because these people are unable to get the employment due to several reasons. The people are, large number of people are there. The governments are unable to provide them employment. So that is why they are shifted to other countries in searching of work. What kind of work? They see here, for example, the plantations and working in mines and laying the roads and railway construction projects around the world. They are not limited in the nearby countries. They are spreaded into around the world. You see here, this is very unfortunate picture we have been seeing. These are all child laborers. This is very unfortunate. They want to be in the school, but unfortunately they are involved in the work, especially in underdeveloped countries and developing countries. Nowadays, the government focused to eradicate these, to arrest the child labor, because these are all the futuristic citizens of the concerned nations. An indentured labor, that means contact labor. They are admitted on the basis of contact. That means 1 year or 2 years, some 4 years, they have to work. Up to the completion of their contract, they may not relieve them. Labor, it is nothing but a bonded labor. Especially appointing the children is a, as per the UNO rules and regulations. The bonded labor under the contract to work for a specific amount of time to pay off the passage to a new country or home. There is the labor, child labor, acts are there, some acts are there. Permitted to work at any place. If anywhere the government observes the child labor, they may be arrest the employer who can provide the employment to child laborers. Okay, so you also don't go for labor work, because it may be influenced to our growth, our mental growth and physical growth. This is the time to acquire the knowledge by going to the school. Don't allow your friends to attend any labor work. This is not the age to attend the labor work, my dear students. To the Caribbean islands, Mauritius, Fiji, Malaya, Ceylon, etc. Our Indian people are migrating to the nearby countries to search the migrating for Caribbean islands, Mauritius, Fiji, Malaya. Have to keep in mind. You may also frame a question where the Indian people are migrating on the basis of contact. Okay, so these are all the maps. You can observe islands and Mauritius and Fiji and Malaya. Observe in your map also, in your atlas. If you open the atlas, you can observe the nations where they are situated in the continents, in which continent those nations are belonging. Okay, European, global supply chains, finance, health, regional trade agreements, 22.0 billion integrated subscribers. You see, this map indicates regarding the world trade. Okay, United Nations, World Trade Organization, production across the countries. This is another subtopic in our textbook. My dear friends, this is my advice. You better to read the lesson once and twice. You can get the knowledge. Okay, this is production across the countries. You see here, you observe the picture. They are all part in the agricultural work. They are doing something here. You see, until the middle of the 20th century, production was largely organized within the countries. The trade also done within the nation, up to the end of 20th century. Then you see MNCs, multinational companies, multinational corporations. MNC is a company that controls production in more than one nation. This is the definition of MNC. MNC means multinational corporations. Multinational company is a company that controls production in more than one nation. You see, for example, you take Tata Company of India, Geo. These are all the multinational companies. They are not only invested in India. These are all the Indian national company. They are not only invested, they are producing their goods and service in other countries also. So that is why called Tata. Geo is a multinational company. Birla is a multinational company. These are all the Indian companies, but they are not invested not only in India, they are invested in other nations also. That is why they are called MNC, multinational company or multinational. Likewise, other companies also there. Chinese companies. There are a number of Korean companies. There are a number of Japan companies. Okay, they are spreaded into other parts of the world. Not only limited MNCs. Write down and show it to the teacher, social teacher. The production process is divided into small production process. Production means to produce some goods and services. You see now huge number of goods and services. For example, you take a mobile, it's a good produced by some country, some industries. Chinese mobiles dumped the Indian market. Oppo and Vivo, these are all the Chinese products. They are producing for the benefit of consumers. The production process divided into small parts and they spread it out across the globe. Okay. And all this probably can mean 50 to 60% cost savings for the MNCs. The advantage of spreading out production across the borders to the multinational can be truly immense. You see, these are all the multinational companies. Nokia is one of the multinational company. Vodafone, Idea, BSNL, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, BSNL. This is Indian company, multinational company. Vodafone, Samsung, Sony Electronics, Airtel. These are all the, you see here, if they produce, for example, you take Japan multinational company. If they produce the goods there itself and they can import it to other countries, they export to the other countries, maybe it is too cost because there are number of charges are framed on it, imposed on it. It is very difficult to purchase. Its price is too heavy. That is why the companies are thinking to establish their branches in other nations. For example, you take Japan, established India, collaborating the Indian company. Here itself they produce their goods. Its cost may be decreased 50 to 60%. So it is affordable rate. It is affordable price to the middle class family and also the upper class families. So that is why the MNCs are established in the other parts of the countries. Not only they are limited for the native countries. Okay, you see, you observed what are you list out all of these names and what the companies they are producing, what kind of goods they are producing. You list out and you show it to your teacher. This is a homework I am allotting to you, my dear friends. Multinational companies. Then you see here, they are exporting they produced cars in a particular nation and they exported through based on the possibility they are exporting their goods. Okay, you see here, Ford company is a multinational company. They are manufacturing the cars from one country to another countries and they are exporting to the needy where the market is available. Okay, then interlinking production across the country. It is one of the subtopics in our textbook. Interlinking. That means linkage among the nations of the countries. Linkage. You see here, interlink, creating opportunities, fusing, classify the goods, and repairing the destroyed, spoiled goods, and enriching. These are all the things connecting with this. The criteria for selecting a site for operation of multinations. The criteria. You see, multinational companies, their industry in other parts of the countries, they are keeping in mind all of these facilities. Proximity to the markets. How best? Nearness. How best to establish the country in other parts of the nation. Availability of the skilled and unskilled labor to a lowest cost. Availability of the skilled and unskilled labor with cheaper prices, with cheaper to establish a country. They are keeping in mind all of this: the proximity, nearness, and the availability of skilled labor and unskilled labor. Skilled labor means intellectual labor, means educated people, maybe engineers, doctors. This all comes under the skilled labor. Unskilled, they may not uneducated, they may not fulfill their uh, qualification to get the higher jobs. These are all the unskilled labors, but they must be available in the lowest prices. Assured availability of other factors of production. Other factors, what are those? Availability of land, availability of the raw material, availability of the better roads to move their products, and availability of the transportation like ships and aeroplanes, government policies that protect their interests. You see, uh, our Prime Minister of India and the Chief Minister of the concerned states, they are all moving to other nations. They are inviting, they are conducting the meetings with um, MNCs, and they are inviting them to our nation to establish their industries. The chief ministers and the prime minister, they are explaining what are the benefits they are providing if any multinational company established in India. That means the infrastructural facilities they have to provide, and they are providing uh, some subsidies. If they establish their industry, the Indian government may provide some subsidies. So these are all they inviting the multinational companies to establish in our India, in our Andhra Pradesh. In our earlier Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu visited large number of nations, and they conducted meeting with the multinational company owners, and even our present Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy also concentrating to invite the multinational companies to establish their company in our nation. Why? Because if the multinational company arrives here, they may be some employment may be generated, and the goods and services may be available in a cheaper rate, in a cheaper price. So that is why they are concentrating. Okay, the government is framed some policies which are very favorable to the multinational company. This picture you may observe in textbook also. We will shift the factory to another country. Why he is shifting? Because weather conditions and higher wages. If this company owner unable to meet the higher wages because the people are demanding for higher wages, they are expecting better conditions. So this company unable to meet their demands. That is why they are shifting. Okay, this has happened in the international marketing. The money of the MNC is spent to buy assets such as land, building, machines, and other equipment is called foreign investment. You may frame a question, what is meant by foreign investment? Here there is a possibility to frame one question. Likewise, you can read sentences and try to frame questions. You have to develop the nature of questioning capability. You see here, what is meant by foreign investment? This is the definition. The money that MNC spent to buy assets such as land, building, machines, and other equipment is called foreign investment. This is we called the infrastructural facilities, land, building, machines, and other equipment also. See here, foreign investment. This is one of the multinational company, Lava, Carbon, Mobiles, Micromax. These are all the multinational companies. Okay, the most common route for MNC investment is to buy up local companies and then to expand production. You see, already I told you, if there is a Japanese company or a company of America, country itself, they are searching the same companies which are and they are producing raw material, producing in the native countries, and they can sell it in cheap prices, lowest prices. That is why the people can get the goods within their buying capability, within their buying capability. Then, you see, Cargill Foods is a very large American MNC. Cargill Foods has bought over Indian companies, Parak Foods. So these are all the multinational companies. They are producing their goods and they are selling entire the world. These are all foods. I mean, a large number of ready-made foods are available in the market, like uh, Big C's and some other marketing places. Okay, then Parak Foods had four oil refineries. Four oil refineries. Oil refineries means okay, edible oil, what we are using in the cooking, and a large marketing network in India. A large marketing network in India. Parak Foods. Parak Foods brand was a well reputed. Cargill is now the largest producer of edible oil in India. Edible oils.